Here are 15 of the most expensive error coins sold at auction during 2024. First up is a fascinating and somewhat inexplicable brockage error. This coin is a Lincoln penny, normally struck on the reverse, but instead of the Lincoln obverse, it has a full brockage and is perfectly mirrored as a result of a Roosevelt dime reverse instead. So at some point, a Roosevelt dime must have made its way into or be inserted into the penny press, and a penny was then struck on top of that. This example was graded by PCGS as MS64 red-brown, and at auction in December it was sold by Heritage for $18,000. Next in line is a proof error coin in the form of a bicentennial $quarter from 1976 struck onto a silver planchet of a $half coin, meaning that the design of the much smaller $quarter only takes up a fraction of the $half planchet. Struck off-center, the coin managed to attain a grade of proof 69 cameo from NGC, and in August it was sold at auction by Heritage for $18,000. From there, we can then look at another wrong planchet error coin. This time though, it is not a proof coin, but instead a 2008 Monroe presidential dollar coin struck on the much smaller dime planchet. Though the subjects of the obverse and reverse of the coin seem to be perfectly framed for the smaller size of the coin. Graded by PCGS as MS64, it was sold in August by Heritage Auctions for the sum of $20,400. Wrong planchet errors seem to be a bit of a developing theme so far, and now we look at a Sacagawea dollar coin that was struck on a clad dime planchet instead. The coin was struck against the collar in just the right way to leave the date and mint mark perfectly intact, despite the smaller size of the coin. Graded by Anax as MS64, this 2004 dated error was sold at auction in August by Heritage for $24,000. And in case you thought that mint errors like these were more of a modern phenomenon, that's not the case at all, as this 1920 silver penny perfectly demonstrates. This is a Lincoln cent from the Philadelphia Mint in 1920 that was struck onto a silver blank for a mercury dime. Graded by NGC as MS62, it was brought to auction in August by Heritage and sold for the sum of $26,400. Earlier, we looked at a bicentennial quarter that was struck on a $half planchet. Well, now we move up to a Kennedy $half, dated as 1973, that was struck on a proof Eisenhower dollar planchet. This unlikely mint error was authenticated by NGC with a grade of proof 68 star, and at auction in August, Heritage Auctions was able to secure a final price of $26,400. Now, here we have a wrong planchet and off-metal error coin, an aluminum 1971 Lincoln cent from the San Francisco Mint. Now, around this era, the US Mint was also striking aluminium coins for Nepal as well as the Philippines, so it is likely that one of those blanks unintentionally made its way into the penny press. This coin is graded as AU58 by NGC, and at auction in September by Heritage, it was sold for $31,200. This has to be one of the most fascinating, if not at least visually stunning, mint errors you're likely to come across. A beautiful brockage where an almost complete mirror image was imparted on what was supposed to be the reverse of the coin. In short, a brockage is created when a previously struck coin either stuck to the hammer die or then lands back in between the dies somehow. One side of the coin is then struck into the next planchet that is fed normally into the collar, leaving a mirror image of the first coin into the blank of the second. This phenomenal coin was authenticated by PCGS with a grade of MS63, and in March it was sold by Stack's Bowers for $31,200. A mule is defined as a coin struck from two mismatched dies. Usually this would be from two different denominations, like the dime-penny errors being struck on the same planchet. But in this case, we have a double-sided dime, with both sides struck as the reverse of the coin. This unique double-sided coin is slabbed by PCGS with a grade of MS64, and in March, Stack's Bowers sold this coin at auction for $40,800. Error coins on gold coins are extraordinarily rare. No surprise given the general care given to striking these coins, given the high relative cost of making a mistake as opposed to a penny or a dime. This Broadstruck example is especially clear as well, with its expanded diameter and widened rim. Graded by NGC as MS64, it was sold at auction in August by Heritage for the sum of $60,000. Then we have a Morgan dollar error coin, and this is a fascinating one at that. The coin is struck widely, about 55% off center, with the date still intact. And in addition to that, I suppose it's meant to be the reverse of the coin, is then an off-center brockage of the obverse of another Morgan dollar. The coin was slabbed by PCGS as MS63, and in November, Stack's Bowers sold it at auction for $78,000. Following that up with a fairly modern and extremely well-known error coin in the form of the 2000 dated mule between a South Carolina state quarter reverse and a Sacagawea dollar coin obverse, struck on a Sacagawea dollar planchet. Graded by PCGS as MS64, this highly sought after and unique error coin was sold by Heritage Auctions in August for the sum of $84,000. And speaking of mule coins, one of the more famous, and mind you, not that there are too many to choose from, is the Lincoln cent and Roosevelt dime mule era. There are to date 7 coins like this known to exist, ranging from 1993 to 2001. This coin is one of the latter date from the Denver Mint. It was graded by PCGS as MS66 red and sold at auction in September by Heritage Auctions for the amount of $114,000. And then, the most expensive error coin to feature at public auction in 2024 is an example of the 2000 Sacagawea dollar coin that was muled with a Washington quarter dollar obverse at the Philadelphia Mint. This is one of the best known modern error coins around, and over the years, fewer than 24 of these coins have come to light. This example was graded by PCGS as MS66, and at auction in January, Great Collection sold this piece for no less than $194,062. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch the top 10 dollar coins that sold in 2024 next, right here. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.